Ah.
Oh shit, sorry.
Right.
Is that... I know, I can see it now.
No.
I can see the reflection.
Yeah, no.
I'll like that.
That.
Right. Okay, in media res. Ah. I'm outside. It's a lovely day. The sun is shining. The birds haven't stopped singing. It's gonna be terrible in the audio, but the wind has stopped ever so briefly, and no one's mowing their bloody lawns. So we thought we'd run outside and just have a nice sort of day, because, well, in there where the internet is, Zelda fans aren't very happy with me. I may have reviewed Tears of the Kingdom, and well, you guys started a controversy with your nonsense Breath of the Wild review score. You got backlash and stopped reviewing games. Now you started reviewing games again just because Totka was about to release. And you guys knew you would do the same thing as with Botwa, and you did. Luckily, nobody takes this site serious anyway. You guys just want attention and to have people talk about you, because there is no other way that will happen. Looking at your other reviews, you guys have no clue about gaming at all, which we already knew. Would be a shame if the site went offline soon. Guys, like, why do you care about review scores that much? Right? Fucking... You know what? I don't like thinking for myself either, right? That's... Oh, I didn't have my collar on. That's why I got myself a good dom anyway. But we're not talking about Zelda this week. Not this week. Next week, though. No, we're talking about Overwatch 2. And how that got, like, fucked to fuck. God, I really hope the audio on this is going to be alright.
Yeah, I mean, the tripod's been sinking into the lawn while you've been talking.
Mental force.
Misuse and abuse and ceaseless corruption. A hunger for profit without interruption. Despite facing hatred and well-placed derision, no blaming nor shaming can stop Activision. Its top boss once joked he'd charge more if he could, and charge more he did, for the could was a would. Speaking of wood, they say Kotick gets that when he threatens assistance with death. What a twat! Their bad games inspire much dissatisfaction. A word used just to rhyme microtransaction. Hey, did I mention the microtransactions? Microtransactions. Microtransactions. Loot boxes were something they pushed, don't forget, with Overwatch milking those glorified bets. Speaking of which, there's Overwatch 2, a game that is Blizzard's ultimate fuck you. Or perhaps that's a title Diablo owns. I mean, after all.
Do you guys not have phones?
At least that game isn't dull, drab and shooty, unlike the long ago tired Call of Duty. But they still make money, so corporate relaxes. And despite making billions, these cunts don't pay taxes. Activision Blizzard. A traitor, deceiver, a groovy disbeliever. Dunno, I was feeling poetic, so I thought I'd throw in a Mott the Hoople reference. That said, after double checking the lyrics, I have just now learned that indeed the line is a traitor, deceiver, a groovy disbeliever. It is not, as I have mistakenly believed all these bloody years, a traitor, deceiver, a groovy love receiver. I heard that really fucking clearly though. Nah, fuck it. I got flippin' go and listen to that bit now.
A traitor, deceiver,
yeah.
Disbeliever.
Yeah, it's disbeliever, yeah. How the hell did I keep hearing it as groovy love receiver? On the upshot, I reckon groovy love receiver's marketable, you know? I'd wear a shirt with that on. I should trademark it before Warner Brothers jumps in and claims ownership of another fucking thing I literally made up myself. Fucking knew I should have made Chungus a license. Good lord. Where the hell am I? Oh right, yeah, a video about Activision, holy fuck. Even by my standards, that tangent was a tangent, but I suppose that's what happens when Mott the Hoople gets involved. Oh wait, fuck! That's why I thought it said Groovy Love Sorry, like, I cannot stress enough, this whole bit is happening inside my brain in real time as I write the script out, and yes, this bit's written into the script. I just glanced down the lyrics sheet as I was gonna pepper other Hoople lyrics into the show for a cute joke, and I just saw the line I fucking mixed up with this one. A bit.
Deceiver, taught, she taught, night, creator, conceiver, romantic love, receiver.
There we are.
The nerve.
Yep. Craig. Yeah, cancel the trademark application. God damn it. Activision Blizzard could well trademark the very concept of being a complete and total fucking monster at this point, with its laundry list of crimes, some of which border on like legitimate actual crimes. The company's absolute dedication to avaricious business practices, to exploiting the revenue out of everything and squeezing every last drop of profit at the expense of its customers, its employees, and the fucking tax-paying public is legendary. When it comes to its library of games, there's no low it won't sink to in the name of getting them stock sky high. Whether it's pumping literally hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of microtransactions into Diablo Immortal, or putting blatant pay-to-win mechanics in Call of Duty's multiplayer, the company's willingness to vandalize its own games to support predatory economies has been a problem for years. It's also an inveterate liar. And why is it that the word inveterate so commonly precedes liar and is so very rarely used elsewhere? Anyway, that's what Activision Blizzard is. An inveterate liar. Promises made about its games before launch are routinely broken, and the company is so dishonest overall that if they say something, you'd have a better than small chance of winning if you wagered on it not being true. Even so, the egregiousness of its latest duplicity is remarkable. The bold-facedness, the shamelessness, the sheer fucking nerve of it. As Blizzard announced recently that a primary selling point of Overwatch 2, a thing that was supposed to justify its very bloody existence, is not happening. The situation is, well, indefensible. The reasoning, spurious. The apologies in the aftermath, fairly meaningless. After releasing a game sold on a broken promise so significant as to render their stated point of a sequel meaningless. I think I've set this story up enough by now, especially since most of you know exactly what the story is and aren't here to learn so much as to see me take another massive cummy dump all over a hated company. Don't ask me why the dump's cummy. Activision Blizzard has announced that the PvE-focused hero missions mode, as well as talent trees for Overwatch 2, ain't happening. These features were a big part of the alleged reason Overwatch had to have a full-fledged sequel instead of an expansion to the original game. The announcement that they'd ceased development on these elements was jarringly sudden, revealed on a livestream after literal years of promises regarding the game's PvE mode. The ambitious hero missions and associated talent trees were considered by many fans to be the most exciting and anticipated part of the game's suite of promised updates. For those unaware, these additions would have provided Overwatch 2 players an RPG-like experience with replayable non-competitive missions and unlockable buffs for characters. These upgrades would have had some dramatic effects on how characters play, changing their active abilities to do unique new things.
All these new mechanics and enemies for people to experience. Players will be able to jump in night after night, play different hero missions, and then work through the progression system, leveling up their heroes.
Yep, knew it. It's untenable outside. The wind started up. The birds got louder and laughed. They definitely laughed at me. Anyway, I've been checking out Metacritic to have a look at the user review score for Overwatch 2. Don't go on the Metacritic page for Tears of the Kingdom. I swear I didn't mean to drop the Metascore again. I swear! Anyway, let's have a look at some of the user review scores for Overwatch 2, because that's always fun. It currently has a 1.5, which is labelled overwhelming dislike. Fun. Just have a look at some of the current ones. We've got John Hank here saying, not only ruined favourite characters like Bastion as an example, but also took away the option to play a game already purchased and paid for and well liked to replace it with this steaming pile of garbage. Blizzard, here done screwed up. This is not to even mention the botched launch. This is horrible. If Overwatch wasn't completely dead before, it is now. It's a good one. Pridus says the login screen isn't interesting enough for me to look at it for 2 hours straight, waiting for it to finally load. What else we got? Blizzard sucks. So we've got a perfectly impartial review there. It's so exciting to see how a behemoth of goodness can fall. Sorry, I was trying to read that as fail, but I knew it was full, so I fell. Can fall so low. What a time to be alive. What we got? Mine border. This is an unfortunate mess for the game. Servers are down, huge queue times, and lots of microtransactions. Well, oh, I've just clicked expand. That's a novel. Play Paladins, says Progan. It is better now in any way. Do not waste your time here. Good luck. A lot of Russian ones. There's so many of those on user review scores. But yeah, it's not great. Virch says half-assed, unplayable, cash grab piece of shit by a garbage company. Jeff made a good call by leaving this trash behind early enough. It's referencing someone who left the team there. I'll do one more. Wubing Wei Hotmai says shameless. Named themselves as 2 is the best joke of the year. I can't wait for the 3 to come out to wait for the 4. I wish Overwatch 8 in 2025. So they're not keen.
Now, Activision Blizzard has said that a story mode is still coming, though at this point, Activision Blizzard saying something will happen is about as trustworthy as me saying I won't drink a lethal amount of Monster Energy and think about lobsters all day. Which I totally won't do, by the way. The story mode Overwatch 2 is getting will now be drastically carved down from its original proposition, as basically the only kind of content that was different enough from Overwatch to credibly appear in a sequel has been axed. It can't be emphasised enough how disappointed Overwatch 2 players are by this news. This wasn't just a feature promised before launch that got cut, or something they've been trying to implement for a few months before giving up. People have been tapping their feet and checking their watches for literal years, all while expecting Overwatch 2 will get something that's actually fucking new. Like I suggested a little moment ago, Blizzard's reasoning for this is flimsier than 99% of all time travel stories. Simply put, it was taking up too many of their resources, and they wanted to put that focus back on the existing live game rather than, in director Aaron Keller's words, staying focused on a plan that was years old. Scope grew, he said. We were trying to do too many things at once and we lost focus. The team built some really great things, including hero talents, new enemy units, and early versions of missions, but we were never able to bring together all of the elements needed to ship a polished, cohesive experience. Now, I tell you why I find this excuse to be just a little bit sus. Overwatch 2's director says its long-awaited features were 86'd because they couldn't, and I quote, ship a polished, cohesive experience. Okay, but that's never stopped Activision Blizzard before, so why the fuck would they break a habit of a lifetime and care about quality control now? You see what I did, right? It was a dig at how shit the company is. Do you get it? Do you get it? Now look, I am not an unreasonable NB unless you get between me and a Mantiforce bog rocket because, yes, Mantiforce is just a running thing on this show now. Not forever. Just until the autism hyperfixates me on some other load of fucking bollocks. Mantiforce!
Yeah, I probably should have warned you that I knew that would happen, and it'd be quite funny. Yeah, sorry, I've just... Mantiforce. Oh. I just want to assure you that I actually do have a complete version of the Black Barracuda. This one is one of those sort of old junky ones I picked up. It's very sticky, and I don't like the texture on it. You know, I really am quite autistic, actually.
But yeah, I'm reasonable, I'm adult, and I understand the realities of resource management and allocating one's time and money to things that work instead of banging heads against brick walls. But even so, to just gut it out, to offer a significantly reduced version of something that's been promised since 2019, to claim they're almost entirely focusing on the quality of a free-to-play experience that has, by all accounts, been a disappointing mess that really needed some good PvE to back it up, is just shitty. It's just plain shitty. In other words, it's a perfect Actiblizz move. Shitty is just what they do. It was bad enough that Overwatch 2's launch marked the literal termination of Overwatch, as the $60 game was comprehensively displaced and replaced by the freemium successor. This was another bullshit promise that Blizzard backtracked on, as they originally assured players they were making a shared multiplayer environment where no one gets left behind. Yeah, instead, they were as left behind as the characters who were left behind in Left Behind.
Fire is raining from the sky. Fear. When is the last time you slept?
I'm gonna get you to a safe house.
Deception.
In the garden, there was a serpent.
Do you know who you're dealing with?
Do you?
Faith.
I knew your message. I knew your words.
Left Behind. The movie.
Oh, that's true.
Seeing is believing.
On top of that, they turned a 6v6 game into a 5v5 game, and the thing they ultimately launched just wasn't very good. Busted matchmaking, imbalanced heroes, and long drought periods where almost no new content was coming, while the audience remained strung along. Unsurprisingly, the game is stuffed to the frothing brim with in-app purchases. In 2022, the sheer expense of these transactions really stretched the definition of micro. A single character skin could cost $10. And of course, the grinding required to unlock cosmetics without paying real-world money was a manipulative grinding affair, with reports stating that it could take over 17 weeks to unlock a skin. Weeks. Not hours. Not even days. Weeks. The game industry is a fucking joke. And when it's got the obligatory battle pass, a concept I'm so fucking burnt out on by now, hate 'em. This is one of those videos where I don't really have a ton of insightful stuff to say, which is a shame, because of how proud of the insightful content we've been publishing lately. Like, if you've not seen my video on using the term JRPG, like, check that one out. That's good content. I prefer not to have to talk about the latest miserable cock-up from a disingenuous, greedy, positively filthsome mainstream game company, and I especially dislike talking about Activision Blizzard, a corporation that very genuinely disgusts the fuck out of me. This company was such a huge reason for the Jimquisition becoming as dark and depressing as it became in and around 2021, and had a big hand in almost eviscerating my weather-beaten passion for criticising the video game industry. It is not gamer outrage to call Activision Blizzard vile. It is not hyperbole to call them sickening. Hell, they're so awful that letting an entire player base down after terminating content promised since 2019 is actually not near the top of shitty things they've done. Still, Overwatch 2 is a game I'm glad I morally objected to ever playing, not just because it was right to do that, but because it really sounds like it would have been a waste of my fucking time. I guess what I'm trying to say is, no puppet, no liar won't bend my lips to wire. No, don't pressurise me so, don't gamble with my life, or you won't live to do it twice. Oh, take some good advice from me, and let the wires ride. Oh, little bog rocket, I worship you, I want to live with you. This is my treat for later. Yeah, of course I got a bog rocket. It's got a little comic and everything in it, look. Ah! That's exciting. Not as exciting as Overwatch 2. Not the game, I mean, the endless controversy around it. God, Blizzard is a piece of shit. Sorry, Activision Blizzard these days, because, well, I remember when Overwatch first came out, and I insisted on calling them Activision Blizzard, not just Blizzard on its own, and people protested, and they said, Steph, or I mean, they weren't calling me Steph at the time, but they said, Steph, don't tie them
to Activision. They're still Blizzard. They're still Blizzard. It's not fair that you are tying Blizzard and Activision so intrinsically well. Was I unfair? Was I? No. They are one and the same. Once you are consumed by Activision, when its teeth are sunk into you, the venom is injected, and you are, by that point, forever tainted. I almost said poisoned, but as every good schoolgirl knows, venom and poison are different. Thank God for me! I don't know what this thing is, Captain Quest, but if it's as bad as it looks, I don't know what's going to happen. Yeah. How will the Manta Men get out of this one?